Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2023 Sunseeker 3010 DSF. We're just going to start off with the back unit. You notice you're pre-plumbed with a propane quick connect, so if you'd like to get the hose for that so you can hook up to your barbecue, you can contact your parts department. We can get you set up with that. You get your 2-inch receiver as well as your 7-pin plug-in. Around the side of the unit, if you pop this door open, you're just going to have some storage space inside there. Notice that all the compartments have these little black caps in them. If you just unscrew them, it is just a drain. In case you ever get any water inside here, you got a way to drain it. On the left here, you notice you got your main twist lock plug connection. You got that notch there. It's going to line up with this notch in that corner. Just going to line those two guys up, push it in, twist 8th turn to twist it in, and then you got that threaded collar, really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this, and you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run the fridge and the lights, or your campsite only has 15 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep in mind when you're going down to 15 amps of power, it's really only to run your fridge and your lights. You're not going to be wanting to run your air conditioner on that. Inside this compartment here, just twisting those open. You can pop that guy up. It's going to be your main sewer hose area. So you got your sewer hose here, which once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. And you're just taking note of that end there. It's going to be the same end that connects to your sewer hose. Your sewer outlet, which you just twist that cap there. That pops off. And you got those two ears there. You do have a nice little drain inside the floor here. It's not one of those black caps, but the big white caps. So you can run that sewer hose through. Those are the same two ears your sewer hose had, so you can just line those guys up. And they click into place. You got your black tank and your gray tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first. It's your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, and you can follow behind that with your gray tank, which is typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. You do have a black tank flush inside here, so the way that guy works is once the tank is connected and the valve is open, which is very important to do so, otherwise you do run the risk of bursting your tank. You can turn on that garden hose and it's just going to flush that tank out, keeping things that little bit cleaner. You got your city water connection, so if you're out of site with service, you just thread on into there, turn it on, and it's going to pressurize all your lines. You do have your airbag nozzle right in the back here, so if you do put a little bit more of a load inside here, you can just top up these airbags with a little bit more air. We do keep about 50 pounds in there, just at all times, kind of where you want to keep it. If you were to go towing, you can add more. You got that 15 amp park adapter I told you about. Inside most of these compartments, there's also some extra storage. Over here, got the door for that generator. I'm just gonna twist that open. You twist these two knobs. This door will pop down, and it just gives you an access to your service port, so you can access that air filter, or for whatever reason, if the button inside stopped working, you do have another one right here. And then you got your oil dipstick to make sure you're always topped up with oil before you use it. It just goes into place like so. I will show you how to turn it on once we get inside the unit. Side of the unit, this compartment here, if you open it up, you're going to find your exterior TV. Now if you can give that TV just a little pull, it'll pop up its travel mat. It will give you access to your garbage bin, which you get access to inside. And then behind your TV, you also have another inline fuse, so if this TV doesn't work, that would be one place I would check. And again, whenever you're traveling, just making sure that it is clicked in. That way it's not banging around in there. In these compartments is just going to be some storage. Inside here is just your hot water service port. You got your 1/8" drain bolt right down here in that spot there. You got your pressure relief valve, so whenever you first get to your site, you want to give that guy a pull. There should be a shot of water that comes out of there. We currently have the tank drained for the customer to pick up. That's why there's no water coming out, so it wouldn't be safe to fire up. I'm going to go over a reset procedure inside. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. You got your two 110 plugins. You do have your propane access here. The only thing you're really going to worry about is this valve here. Turning it all the way clockwise would close the flow of propane. Opening it up all the way would open the flow of propane. You got your furnace exhaust right here. So whenever your furnace is on, this is going to be blowing out hot air. So just be mindful of that. You got your fresh water fill. So if you put a garden hose in there and turn it on, that's going to fill your fresh tank, and that's what your water pump draws off of. Inside this compartment, you're just flipping that down. Inside here, again, you have it for the other airbag for the other side. Always making sure whenever you do put air in them, you put equal air in both sides. Pop that guy open. You get access to that filter housing. So if you ever want to pop that filter in there, the bypass for your winterization, you got this hose back here, which threads on right here. Just turning that valve would get you bypassed over to get that antifreeze ran through there. You got your fresh tank drain as well as your low point drain. It's all hooked up to this valve. Opening that valve would drain that tank as well as that line. And just if we close this guy up now, I'll show you that located right underneath the floor here. You're gonna have a cap on your hot line. So that's gonna be for your low point for your hot line, in case you're gonna be doing leaving the unit for a while or changing a tap. Inside, just pulling that handle, opening up that door. You're gonna notice first thing on your right, you got your fire extinguisher, which is just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. And then on the wall, you got your battery disconnect. So with that battery disconnect switch on like it is now, the batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn it to off, they become disconnected from the unit. You got two switches here. One's gonna do a porch light and the other one's gonna do your awning light. And then right beside that, you do your awning button. Pushing that button up, which is extend, that awning's gonna start making its way out. Once fully extended, you're gonna see the back of the metal tube and a little flap hang down. Unfortunately today, I don't think we're gonna be able to get all the way out, but we'll be able to get it out enough so you can see. So that is about all we're gonna be able to go today. But if you were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, and just pull down on it. It's gonna change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now, if you do like that angle better because it allows for more shade underneath, you do the same thing with the front arm. Just always making sure you do push those arms back to straight whenever you go to bring it in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. Bringing it in just as simple as pushing that button and making sure that awning's rolling the fabric the right way in. That way you're not trapping any moisture inside there, accelerating the growth of mold and mildew. Another thing I'll mention, if it does rain and you bring that in, just always making sure whenever it gets sunny again, as soon as you can, rolling it back out and letting it dry out good. You got your solar controller on the wall here. Works pretty simple once I turn the light on here. You got your solar controller, so there's a bunch of options you can scroll through, but they call it a controller. It is just a monitor system, so you can scroll through different options. Battery 1, battery 2, pushing that enter button will bring you into your device status, and that'll tell you PV power, PV voltage, just a whole bunch of information. You can go through it, and there's also an owner's manual for that. And then you got your base camp leveling system. Now for this to work, also for the slides to work and the leveling system to work, the key for the unit does have to be on the accessory mode, so I'll go and do that now. And there you go, that does supply power to that guy there. So you do have retract jacks, so that would retract all the jacks. Then you have auto level, so pushing that button would automatically level the unit. And if you push that little side thing there, you can go into manual mode. You could also connect your phone to it if you were to download the Lippert app. There's a calibration mode, which you don't really have to worry about. And then you have some jack lights, which you can turn on as well. And then hitting that home button just brings you back to that home screen again. I'll get you to come inside the unit with me here. Since that key is on, we do got all your switches here. So that switch is obviously going to turn on the living room lights. And then we have kitchen lights as well on here. Hitting that slide out button out, the slide out's going to start making its way out. Once fully extended, you're going to hear those motors wind up and click. So there you go, and then the back slide is the same, except the switch for that is just on the wall here, right around that corner. Push that button out. Always making sure you know what's on both sides of your slide before you put it in or out. That way you don't run the risk of running it into anything and causing any damage. And there you go, that's fully extended. Now also on here you do have your monitor panel system, so you got your black, your gray, your fresh, and your fresh, and that goes empty, a third, 2/3, and then full. And then you got your battery, which goes low, fair, good, and C would be charging. And then of course LPG, which would go empty, a third, 2/3, and then full. You got your Arctic pack, which turning that on does turn on heaters on the bottom of your tanks. They're just little pads that are adhesed to the tanks. They turn on, they heat up. It's for extended camping season, but our Manitoba winters get much too cold for you to go too far into it. Really, you're not going to want to go much over like -3, -5 maybe. And even then you do run the risk of things freezing up, so just be mindful of that. You got your water heater option. You can fire that up on either gas or electric. If you do fire it up on gas, you're going to hit that button. Water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the third try it doesn't light, this fault light's going to come on. At that point, you do just have to turn this switch off, go hit that reset button, and it'll try relighting itself again. You have your water pump, which draws off your fresh tank, and then a driver's side rear light, which is just right above your sewer system there. Turning that on just turns that light on, allowing you to see a little bit better. And then you got your generator stop, prime switch, and start switch. So what you're always going to do is you're going to hit that button, stop/prime, hold it in for about 10-20 seconds. That's just priming that carburetor with fuel. And then you can hit that start switch. Sometimes it doesn't always fire up right away, so you have to try it once or twice. And it fires right on up. Then to turn it off, you just hit that start prime button and it turns itself off. In the living space here, you do have this dinette area, which can turn into a bed. You're just having to loosen this knob off, pull this tabletop off. You can pull this leg out of the floor, and then you can take your tabletop and rest it in these ledges here. You can take your back cushions to fill in the center. Notice you do have seat belts in these chairs, so you can sit here while traveling. You have about 3 seat belts, so that's 3 extra passengers you can take. You got some storage all above. All the blinds in the unit work the same way. You're just going to pull that down, and wherever you leave it's where it's going to stay, and then just one pull will allow it to retract. You do got recliner chairs in here. They are electric recliners, so that top button is going to push them out. The bottom button is going to bring them in. You do have USB plugins on that switch as well, and these chairs also have their own seat belts, so you can also have a couple more passengers here as well. And for those chairs, they do also include this nice little tabletop system. Just pushes into that silver button, and it's a nice little tray. If you're to be eating or want to put your phone on or whatever, you can do so. And you can switch it between both sides. Getting more into the front, you got the front cabin area, which is, just like home. It's just your typical Ford chassis up front. Then you got this top bunk piece, which does slide into place, making that bunk space a little bit bigger. And then there's this ladder on the wall, which clicks into place for traveling. You can move that out of the way, and it just hooks in like so, making it nice and easy for whoever's sleeping up there to get in and out. And then just always making sure you do latch this back to the wall whenever you're traveling. That way it's not banging around. There's 2 individual lights up there. They're just on their own center push buttons as well. You got a booster seat in case you need it for the driver's or passenger seat. There's some storage underneath here with a plug-in as well. Into the kitchen area, you got this nice little extra countertop space. If you need it, you're just going to pull that out. You got two spring assisted locks to lock it into place. Bring it down. You're just bringing those guys down, and it'll make its way down. You do have wireless phone charging system. You're just going to put your phone on top if your phone is capable of that, and it'll start charging it. And of course, inside here, you're going to have a cable satellite inlet. You're going to notice these two green lights here. There's two buttons on either side. That's just turning antennas on the roof to give you the best signal for TV. And then it's also going to improve your radio frequency, so I do just leave that on full time. On your TV, that's also going to be your stereo for the unit. So if you turn this on, it's just going to power up.
Ang suspect hanggang na-discover nilang minor de edad pala siya. Itong minor de edad ang ni-rescue na nasa edad 14 hanggang 17. Ang tatlong iba pang biktima ay 18.
And yeah, you could switch, push in that source button. You can switch between all the different options. You got TV, AV component, 3 HDMIs, Bluetooth, and then FM radio. Going to the FM radio, you just gotta push that button. It'll switch over to that. To turn those exterior speakers on, you're hitting that button. It'll show you Zone A or Zone B. Zone B is going to be your exterior speakers, and Zone A is going to be your interior speakers. So we do have both on. That said Zone A. You can adjust the volume, pushing that button twice, and then push that button one more time, bring it to Zone B. If you want to turn those on, you do just have to hold that button, and that'll turn that on, and you do the same thing to turn it off. And it does just turn it off, and that's going to be it for that. You got your little garbage chute up top here. Lots of drawer space all around. For your water heater, you got these 4 screws here. If you loosen these off, take these out. This false panel is going to pop out, and it's going to give you access to the water heater for winterization. Sink, hot and cold water. And then getting to your stove. Now, for your igniters to work on your stove, you do have to press this blue button, which supplies 12 volt to that, allowing those igniters to work. Don't panic if it doesn't fire up right away if it's been off for a while, because it allows air into the line, so you do have to let that propane work its way all the way up, and it will fire right on up. You got a convection oven down below. We do include this water filter for the unit. I can either install it when you guys come and pick it up, or you guys can install it yourself. We just leave it out just so it's fresh for when you do want to use it. You got cupboard space all around. Then you get your 3-round fridge, which just opens up like so. You notice up top here, you do got that power button. Pushing and holding that button, it's going to turn itself on. It's going to be a normal operation. You can plus or minus the fridge or freezer with either button. One side does fridge, the other side does the freezer. And then just holding that power button again, we'll turn it off. This is on a travel latch system, so you do have to push the sides in for it to open up. Little pantry space. You got these nice slide out drawer system. Getting into this area here, you got that shower, hot and cold water inside here, swivel shower head, and then if you take a step over, you can open up this door. Now this door also acts as a block. I'll turn on light here. This door also acts for a block. If you'd like some privacy for getting in and out of the shower, there is a magnet, so that door is not going to go anywhere. Inside the bathroom, you do got your sink and your toilet with hot and cold water. You notice you got a GFI plug over here. If you don't ever have a plug that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd check. You got test on the bottom, reset in the middle. That green light's telling you that the system's good. Up top, you're going to notice you got a little vent above head. To make that work, you're just going to turn that guy clockwise, and it opens on up. Switch right beside the light, turns on that fan. You're going to notice you are open straight into the atmosphere, so if it were to start raining, it's going to start leaking in here. Of course, unless you get a max air fan cover. So we do sell them here at the store. The parts department can get you a quote for that. Basically, it's just a cover that goes over here, and it'll allow you to run that whether it's raining or you're traveling. Like I said, that is just an extra feature you could get. You can contact the parts department if you're interested in that. Into the bedroom here, you got your switch on the left, light switch on the right. On the wall, you're going to have your thermostat. It works pretty simply. Push that button once, you're going to get into fan on. Now that's currently just the fan moving air around using the air conditioner, no cooling involved. You can hit that fan switch and you're going to see it just drops down to 1 bar, which would be low fan, 2 bars is high fan. Hitting that button one more time, you're going to get into cool. Now once you're into cool, you can push at any time up or down. It's going to change that temperature plus or minus. And you're in cool, hitting that fan button can change your fan speed. One more time, you get to heat pump. Now heat pump is essentially just reversing what the air conditioner does. So technically under normal operation, the air conditioner sucks in hot air, blows into the unit cool air. Putting it into the heat pump mode reverses that. So it's going to be blowing out cool air and blowing in the hot air. Additional to that, that isn't the only heat source. We do have a furnace. You can fire that up. That does fire up the furnace. You do have to have the propane on for that, as that's what it runs off of, and it'll fire that up. One more time, you'll get solely on furnace because you can run both at the same time. And then one more time, we'll bring you over to off. On this wall here, again, tons of storage space. Located underneath the bed here, you're gonna notice you do got your breaker and fuse panel. Unfortunately, this fuse panel, you'll have to look if you do have a blown fuse. You just got to pull each individual one out and check it. And then you got all your breakers. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle. So you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. Out behind this TV, you can pull it out of place just by kind of pulling. You do got some storage space back here in case you want to hook up a DVD player or whatever else back here. Making sure you do click that back into place, that way it doesn't go anywhere. And then you got your fire exit back here. That works pretty simply. You're just undoing these red clamps, and that'll allow you to hop on out. And then to close it back, you're just holding it in like so, hooking those red clamps back on, locks it back into place. And then last but not least, show you. Right down here, you're going to have your LP detector. Propane's heavier than air. It's going to sit on the ground. That guy starts detecting it. You do just want to turn off the main supply propane at the front of the unit. Open up some windows and ventilate it out that little bit. Whenever you are running your air conditioner as well, you got a couple different options. You can run it with the louvers closed, in which case it's going to move all its air through the ceiling ducting you see we have around, or you can open up these louvers. It'll dump all its air into this main living space. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.